Welcome back to another video, guys. In this one I'm going to be showing you the ship that I've recently made, Chinese junk, late period version. So I'll start off with showing you the plan that I initially made, and I'll go through the construction stages like usual. So 2D stage, obviously. So you'll probably notice some apparent differences with this relative to European ships. Frame here. Apparently Chinese junks, or junks in general, were originally designed in the 2nd century AD. So the hull here, they were actually made of softwood. Whilst European ships were usually made out of hardwood. I know that some ships, like the triremes of the classical era, were made of pine, which is obviously softwood. So the decks there and the rigging. You can obviously see that the rigging is actually different to that of a European ship. I've actually used cobble walls for this ship, and you can also notice that the sails are slightly different. You can see these poles that support the sail, they're actually called battens. Over to the sails. So I've chosen red wool for this stage. Obviously a lot of many of the examples that I saw online had sort of orange sails, red sails and white sails. I have actually chosen to use orange sails in the final version. I'll skip over to the one in the water and I'll rotate around it. I actually did change the rigging to fences in the end. So these sort of ships would differ in size quite a lot. You've perhaps heard of the Chinese treasure ship, which is I'm not sure what the dimensions are off the top of my head, but it is an incredibly large wooden ship. I think it's possibly the biggest wooden ship ever made, as far as we know anyway. In case you haven't noticed, I'm actually using another shader pack for this video. I'm using the default resource pack. But I'll leave the Shaderpack link in the description. I think it's very nice. I couldn't use sonic ethers because it wasn't compatible with this the video driver that I'm using currently. I would downgrade, but it's a lot of effort. Okay, so the deck. I've included some basic details like these sort of things. I'm not sure what they're called, but they're basically places where they could tie ropes. For the sails and the rigging. There are 4 cannons in each side. Like I said, little details like a wall here. I've actually put a lifeboat on the back. I've tried to stick with obviously a Chinese theme. I've added some details around the cannon ports here. Obviously not very realistic, but I would say aesthetically pleasing. On the side there's another sort of unusual feature that you wouldn't see in a European ship. Is rather than a ladder here, I've actually put a set of stairs. I think these were used on triremes, but as far as I know, they weren't used on any sort of late era European ship. I've actually chosen to use a different effect on the front of the ship, rather than using web, as you can see on the cog and caravel back there. I'm using glass of different shades. I think that looks a lot better, especially on this ship. I did originally go for the web technique, but I felt like that didn't actually that didn't work very well, so I changed it to this. I'm quite happy with that result. Speaking about the rigging, I've only actually used fences. I haven't used any glass or any gates. In fact, I have actually used slabs at the top. So it's a technique that I haven't actually used before, but it works in this situation very well. So that's about it for the exterior. I'll just show you what is under the what's under here. So attached to the ore, there's a pole here. I think many other junks would have just used an ore at the back, steering ore. But as this is, like I said at the start of the video, so I've designed it to be a late period junk. I'm not sure exactly when this design would have actually been used. There are a lot of features that I've added which make it more fantasy than realistic. You can see here it doesn't actually, these two walls don't actually connect to create a V. It stays open, so that's sort of another difference between this and a European style ship. I've actually added this system in as well, so you can see the cannons work. If I just stand near it, the cannons will eventually activate as the piston goes. I'll change it tonight, which will give you a different view. Now back today. Okay, so that's my attempt at a Chinese junk. I'm quite pleased with it. I think it's probably the most aesthetically pleasing ship that I've done so far. I'll leave you with some pictures that show sort of the evolution of the colour scheme. Basically the versions between this and the versions between that, because I know creating a colour scheme can be difficult, and I think it would be beneficial for anyone trying to create this to see that. So as usual, I'll leave you with a set of renders as well, and thanks for watching.